it. So a $600 pension 10, 15 years ago won't buy much of anything here today.
And why the millennial generation is starting to give up because they can't afford to get a good job or own a house.
8 million Venezuelans voting for this assembly, saying it's actually less than 3.
It is. And people are going to start rioting in the streets.
Was reported to have asked Putin for military support that would help him stay in power.
We will make America safe again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
And they ignore him. And 8 more years goes by till Bernie himself finally admits to his sons, hey, I've been running a Ponzi scheme.
Does its dominance mean it can use the alliance for its own ends?
Since 1981, bond yields, also known as coupon rates, have just gone down and down and down.
The Federal Reserve note will be your biggest financial liability.
RTD Live Talk. We're live. Wednesday evening, the 9th day of the month of May. Looking forward to having a little back and forth this evening. And so getting a little bit of a late start, but I'm here. More importantly, I believe the phone lines should be available. And so I'm not sure what's been going on with the number just above my head, 1313-462-0027. It's a number for you to call in and let me know what's on your mind. And so tonight, it's going to be an open chit-chat, a little back and forth, and we're going to make it work tonight. And actually, I think I said the wrong date. It's Thursday. Wow. Yeah, man. What's going on? What's happening in the news? More importantly, I think by tomorrow we will definitely know how this whole trade situation is ironed out or intensifies or whatever might come about from there. But more importantly, as always, let me know where you're watching from. Want to find out what's going on. Let me see who check in with the chat. We got Spirit King is available. Low blood pressure from Corpus Christi, Texas. We got Ace One. Say, hey, Mike, what's going on with the Dow and Bitcoin? Oh, great question, man. Yeah, it seems that there's definitely some activity happening underneath the surface. And so with the Dow reacting heavily this week to the whole tariff situation, the trade issues, and it's showing up in regards to nations and their lack of trust in how things are going to shake out amongst the companies or whatnot with their equity or the stocks or whatnot. And then we have on the Bitcoin front, it looks like Bitcoin, out of a lot of the hundreds and hundreds of other altcoins, Bitcoin is moving right now. So let's get to this call and see what's going on. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Kevin Millender, and I'm calling from Greenbelt, Maryland.
Kevin Millender from, is that Green? What was that again?
Greenbelt, Maryland, brother.
Greenbelt, Maryland. How you doing, my friend? What's on your mind this evening?
You know what? I just wanted to. This is kind of a little, probably off subject a little bit, but I wanted to illuminate on. I keep getting these posts, and I keep seeing on social media where Obama is considered the best president of our lifetime. Now, I'm a black man.
Okay.
and I'm proud that we had a black president. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
But after that, let's look at the facts. I mean, look at his cabinet. He brought in Wall Street guys, and then look what he did. Look what he did.
Yeah.
The head Negro in charge sold us out to the Fed, bro. Come on, folks. Let's break it down.
Yeah.
He bailed out the banks. They were too big to fail. He bailed out the insurance companies. They were too big to fail. And he bailed out the automobiles. Those that would take the bailout except for it. He bailed them out.
Yeah.
So how did he do that? They just printed more paper. They just kicked the can down the road. They just put more taxes on our backs and debt to pay that off.
Yeah.
And nobody's talking about that. Nobody. Obama was great. Hold up, wait a second.
Yeah.
The dude sold us out, gang. Am I the only one on the planet that see this?
No. So let me shoot it with you as well. So
come on, bro. Help me out a little bit, bro.
Yeah, and so I don't think it's only hard to imagine that he wasn't as productive as he was sold to be. But my whole thought process in regards to him becoming president was, it was his time, and it was the timing of him being strategically placed in the position to become president. And then it was more so as at a time where, and if you looked at the trend that was unfortunately disrupted with this current president, it was supposed to be, and this is my opinion, it's supposed to be Barack Obama, the first black man,
Right.
Hillary Clinton, the first woman, and then the next president was supposed to be a transgender, homosexual, or something like that. That's kind of that's kind of what I believe the trend was going to be. So
No doubt.
I never looked at his color, and so me personally, I mean, I've been African American. I'm going beyond color nowadays because I look at it from a spiritual standpoint of right, good, evil, righteousness, sin, whatever. So I look at it from a different point of lenses. Rather.
I like that, bro.
So
I like that, bro.
I never really bought into what he said, what he sold us on. I forget, what was it, change you can believe in or whatever that was.
That was the platform. Yeah,
my question was, how were you going to be different than your predecessors? And I didn't see that or didn't recognize anything. And nowadays, more African Americans, celebrities are willing to come out and say, he sold us out, he was not for the black folks, or all that stuff. So it's more common now. But you'll never hear it on mainstream, liberally biased news.
No.
I still hear you. So it looks like we connect again. So yeah, whenever you talk about stuff like this, my internet goes out.
Go ahead and reiterate your point, man.
No, but no.
I mean, great.
Yeah, and I was just saying, man, nowadays, looking back, people can see that nothing productive was done. And so a good example would be the Flint situation with the water and all that stuff like that. That all kind of went down under Obama's watch towards the end. So he didn't step in to try to do nothing, but yet now they want to point the blame on Trump and the governor. So, yeah, man, I think people can see through that stuff now, man.
And you know what? To just elaborate on my point, it's put us behind the 8 ball because if you listen closely to Jim Richards or Mike Maloney, they say, and I listen to them a lot, okay, I think the proverb says, in the multitude of counselors is much wisdom. So this time, they're calling it worse than the Depression. This time, they're talking about the greatest wealth transfer in history.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
When a wealth, so answer this question for me, though. Answer this question for me. In a wealth transfer, right?
Yeah.
Explain to me how wealth actually goes from one party to another. You actually have to be holding the assets when they make that correction, that currency correction, right? If you don't have the gold and the silver, the assets, aren't you going to come up short with this wealth transfer?
Okay, so let me share with you my perspective and my little bit of knowledge. Mind you, I'm not a PhD economist. I'm just a guy with an opinion that's been talking to a lot of smart people. But the wealth transfer, when it comes to the digits and the paper, primarily, which is all loaded up into the equities, stocks around the world. So it's the idea of being able to short the equities market. So as I came out a lot of articles before talking about the big money that they've already gotten out. So now it's just a plunge protection team / corporation buybacks is keeping things somewhat propped up. But the long money is already out, and they're betting against the markets tanking soon. So however that's short, I don't know how that works and from a technical standpoint, how you can short the market. I haven't got that deep yet. But you can bet against it, and on the way down, you're making money. So if you're doing that and you're sitting heavily in cash, everybody and their mother has a house that's financed, so it's going to be a lot of foreclosures. If you got cash, you buy all these houses, and then you rent them and sell them back to the people who can no longer afford them. You buy tangible things, you buy art, you buy all this stuff like this that appreciates. All of that right there is going to be on sale. It's going to be a fire sale for those that got money and those who got currency, rather. So that's the biggest transfer, because this past Great Recession, how was it that those mortgage-backed securities were labeled as assets, but they were junk to banks, but then the Federal Reserve bought them? Now they're sitting on $3.some trillion worth of real estate that they own out of nowhere. So that's a transfer in of itself. So that's just one little smidget of how it can go, man. But yeah.
I got one. Listen, how can the U.S. classify assets? The student loan debt is being classified as an asset. What is going on with that, bro?
I think it gets that type of stamp of approval because the borrowers, the students, can't file for bankruptcy on that, so it can't go away. So no matter what, as long as you have a heartbeat, you're going to be expected to pay that back. So that means that your labor from the time you take it out to the time you graduate to the time you pay it off or either die, that's an asset because they're going to always have a hand in your pocket. So if they got unlimited access to your funds for the remainder of your life, in a sense, that's an asset, you know what I'm saying? Because they always can come for you and you can't shake it no how, no way, apart from what's about to come now. They're about to forgive it all and then find a way to put it back into, take it out in taxpayers' pockets or something. But yeah, man. But
it seems like the American dream has become the American nightmare.
Yeah, man. It's definitely the night. The dream is no longer what it used to be for our parents and grandparents. So it's more of a stay pace and have fun with it, man. But hey, man, I appreciate you calling and sharing your thoughts, though.
Thank you, sir.
Yep. Have a good evening. Yep.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. Good stuff. Good stuff. Appreciate you calling in. So it looks like the phone lines are up and running. So as always, let's get back to the chat. And it looks like there's a super chat, so I'll answer that. Ace 1. It said, Flint is a perfect example how the leader will handle our country. Bull crap. It took local people, rappers, the game to come through and help. Very true, Ace 1. And so that's a movement amongst the people that was kind of fueled by the whole idea that under Trump, there was nothing done. So you have a lot of celebrities that already are anti-Trump that the media would love to cover. So the media will always shine light on their own biased viewpoint. So it's unfortunate that it takes an event like this for people to come together. But as I was talking about the subject matter not long ago, the family member, the Flint situation is what we know about. Like, we know the water piping is bad because the governor or the mayor decided to turn the pipes off or whatever, all the details. But Flint is just one city out of many, because here in Detroit, we get the water from the Detroit River area, and that water itself ain't all that good. So the Detroit pipe system, I'm sure, is not as grade A as we would like to think, because it's probably older than Flint. And so that same water coming through those pipes at the end of the day is not really healthy. Speaking of which, in the city of Detroit, this past year, in this current school year, there's been several schools that have had to close schools. So there are schools in Detroit that are not allowed to use the tap water. They got bottled water in Detroit. So it's good to say all the older cities, the metropolitan cities that were around in the beginning, Chicago, we got Gary, Indiana, Boston. I mean, I would imagine it's a lot of cities that probably got the same type of infrastructure, that if Flint was to get some type of bailout or bail-in or whatever for those pipes, you're going to have all types of cities talking about we need infrastructure too. Because, mind you, the railroads, the roads in general, all that stuff hasn't been taken care of for quite a few decades. So one city is not going to be able to get some help without everybody else bitching and complaining. So so whatever that's worth, man. But appreciate that. And thanks for that super chat as well. What else we got going on in the chat? As always, feel free. Call in it, man. Let me know your thoughts. 313-462-0027. We'd love to hear your thoughts directly. And let me know what's going on. Nacho Fool gave me a super chat at 99 cents. I appreciate that, my friend. It says, who we got on the line? It says, Obama destroyed the middle class. We move down the chat. It says, Rocket Man is back. I will say this, there is no party candidate that did one thing personally to benefit me. Not one person I see on the landscape will look after us at home. 100%. And that's where, if you got to depend upon your government to do anything for you, you're going to be the last man standing if you get any help. But the help you're going to get is going to be, it's not going to really be beneficial to you. It's going to be more so a strip of your freedom and everything else. So that's what it is. So yeah, the stream went down for a quick minute when I was talking about former president, unfortunate, but not like in a dogging way, but just being up in front and honest as to how, he's no different than anybody else. So he's all in that same, that the elite boys club. And so Michael Hissey said, crypto will be the biggest wealth transfer in history. Hello, XRP. So we got an XRP fan on the line. How you doing this evening? Yeah, apart from, I've talked about XRP before and all that stuff like that. And I think in this whole transfer, a lot of cryptocurrencies will be vehicles used to transfer out of fiat into tangible goods and services. So I think XRP along with a lot of other ones will also pop off. What else we got? It said anyone that has prepped by now is leaving it way too late. People should be buying or getting their hands on hard copies of financial truth books like Fed Up, Aftermath, The Coming Bond Market Collapse, Collusion, etc. to pass on to future generations. Yeah, those books are going to be classics, hands down, because it's amazing that people can write about events that's already occurred and then compare the similarities to what's currently underway, and people think it's not going to happen again, or it's nonsense or whatever. But what else is going on in here? It says money supply by 2029 will reach the point whereby the cost of goods services will rise due to the laws of inflation. Money supply times money velocity, figure that is greater than the GDP is inflation. Stark side of the moon. Great assessment there. The money supply. The currency in circulation has to increase just because the debt goes up along with it. And so if government bonds ultimately are monetized and brought into existence through digital units, its own ledgers, or paper, it has to go up. Therefore, the supply will always outpace the demand, causing a increase in goods and services. So it's a guarantee that your life will become a little bit more costlier, if that's a good way to put it, or a good word. The phone, now the volume. Yeah, man, we're going to work on that. Get your followers into cryptos now, and then they will have the big money transferred to them in the near future. Yeah, Michael, that's the thing. Here on this channel here, we're predominantly precious metals enthusiast with a little bit of crypto sprinkled in there as well. But I personally don't prefer one over the other, apart from saying that from the name of this show, there's going to be some issues with what we consider the world reserve currency. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, what's going on, Mike? This is Kenny. I'm calling from Jersey. I'm sorry.
Kenny from Jersey. How you doing, my friend? What's on your mind tonight?
I'm good. Question. I wanted to run this by you, man.
Yep.
What's your thoughts on the possibility of the U.S. going to a point of printing long-term like Japan does? I've been hearing a lot of people discuss that lately, entertain the fact that maybe we can go as long as Japan has been going. But my thoughts on it initially was Japan maybe have gotten away with it because they were never the world's reserve currency, and don't drag the whole world along with their economy. Am I right with that in your perspective? What you think?
I've also saw an article. I'm trying to pull it up about something of that nature, referring to it was trying to link the idea that MMT, the modern monetary theory, to what's happening in Japan, and saying that if Japan can do it, surely we can as well. But yet, from what I've gathered from the whole Japan situation, Japan, the Bank of Japan has pretty much, they bought and own all or more than half of government debt. So it's internally on their own balance sheet that they themselves have actually funded the government. So it's in-house. And then when it comes to the ETFs as well as the stock market and whatnot, they bought majority of that as well. So that's once again being held on behalf of the population, the senior citizens and whatnot. So all that I think is a contained, hyperinflationary environment that hasn't really sprung out because, as you mentioned, it's not a reserve currency. So it's not really in demand excessively for trade or whatnot. So it can be utilized in-house. But by the dollar being everywhere and being in demand for international trade, I'm not quite sure that we can follow that same approach of unlimited printing without there being a loss of trust from other nations that's holding all those notes and bonds and stuff like that, to where if nobody wants them, then what's going to happen with the notes that's already in existence? Nevertheless, the need to print more. So I don't see it being a situation where we can be like Japan, because Japan is more of an isolated, contained event, according to my knowledge base. So unless something is different, I don't think we can pull that off. But I could be wrong.
If I'm understanding you right, so just to make sure I'm understanding you right, what you're saying is, in the event when you do that internal, it's, even though it's bad, it's a night and day situation when you do it.
To my knowledge, yes. Just because the Japanese yen is a part of the global basket, but it's not the reserve currency where everyone has to have it on their balance sheets as a reserve for international trade. So a big difference between
Got you.
one that's needed, one that's probably utilized but not needed. So that's just my little 2 cents, man.
That's a big difference.
Yep.
Yeah, I just wanted to second that. I kind of was feeling that way. And one last thing, and I'll let you go.
No problem.
To piggyback off what the first caller said in regards to that Barack Obama.
Mm-hmm.
That is, I really felt him on that. That is key because I deal with that a lot. But to piggyback off of that, the other thing that really blows you away out here is this statement. I don't know if you get this.
Mm-hmm.
This statement is going around with the masses where when you start getting into this monetary system and you break it down, they all are saying that'll never happen. That is the most frustrating statement to hear when you hear that so vocal and confident.
Yeah.
I mean, that is about as common as what that first caller made with how people are blind to what we got in that Obama deal.
Yeah.
The second to that is that'll never happen. I mean, these people turn the light switch right off after they say it and go right back into something stupid and with confidence.
Yeah, I think
just wanted to share that, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing that, and I think it's unfortunate that people tend to forget too easily, especially they can never happen again. So my thing is, like, just 10 years ago, the economy paused for a second. A lot of things happened that never fully recovered, but to say it can't happen again and be worse would be like, I don't know. And I'm hearing more people talk about, because of monetary policy now and the easing concept, we can never truly have a recession or a slowdown because of the easing that's underway now. And I'm thinking, like, it may not have a slowdown, but we can definitely have some type of default where it's a flat out crash or a straight up stoppage of credit, period, because of all this debt, to where that could be a lot worse than just a normal recession, in my opinion. But who am I?
It's so lopsided in thought. When I'm picking up my precious metals, getting my weight up, as you like to say, I almost feel like there's no way I could be right because there's no way I'm getting this right and so many people's getting it wrong. That's how lopsided it is.
Yeah, but you think about how small, how large the crowd of people who are not aware, as they say, the sheeple people, the people who don't know about it, and how minute and how small the people who are preppers or people who are awake really is in comparison. So it's 1% versus 99%. Can make it look kind of small, and but it's to your advantage, I believe, in my opinion. So, hey, I appreciate you calling in, my friend.
All right, man, appreciate you.
Yep, have a good one.
All right.
Yeah, man, feel free to call in. I apologize. It's when someone calls in, it definitely startles the hell out of me because it's up. I got the speaker up as loud as it can go. But anyway, let's get back to the chat. What's going on? 100% says remember Bernanke. I do remember Bernanke. Let me get this call. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hello, this is Wade. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Wade, how you doing, my friend?
All right. Just made it back here on the other side of the world.
Oh, so you are stateside, or you still, I think you were in Africa?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm stateside now.
Okay. How give us the rundown, man. How was everything over there? And you're going back, and give us some detail. I have yet to go to that part of the world yet.
Well, I'm telling you right now, the Horn of Africa is sold up by China.
I don't doubt it.
They just, now the ports they used to have, that Dubai used to own, China has taken those. They've been, Djibouti kicked them straight out. And these are ports that Dubai built up with their own money. So what happened was that Dubai went to court, international court, to file a grievance on it. So what China did, just paid them the money and bought them out. So now you, in that port section, goes from Dubai, goes from Djibouti all the way to Ethiopia.
Let me look this up.
And they have all the ports. Those ports are locked down by China, and no one can go up on those ports except for people who are Chinese. Who are Chinese. So you're not allowed to go up in that port section unless you're Chinese.
Really? So I'm looking at a map right now, and so trying to familiarize myself with the area. So I'm looking at Djibouti. That's funny.
Right.
And then down to Ethiopia. So you're saying?
Yeah, you see that.
Okay, so I see Djibouti is right on the coast, and then Ethiopia is right underneath that. Now,
correct.
The port of Djibouti you're referring to
is right as you go up right there. You see right in Djibouti, area here.
Yeah.
All that's coming through from their back. Plus, they're running a train line all through Africa, and that's built by China. And I mean, it's a nice looking railway system that they have.
Yeah.
Built up. It's really nice.
Mm-hmm.
And what they're doing is what happened was the United States was supposed to build that up for the people in Djibouti and through Africa, but we didn't follow through on that. So China's coming in now. They're building houses, and they built that whole area up.
Yeah.
Putting houses in for the people, clearing the people off. I mean, it's really going up.
Mm.
And
So is this a part of the One Belt, One Road initiative, the maritime route, as well as what are your thoughts on where is this leading to?
Well, it's leading to China being a fully convertible reserve currency. There's no way around it because the SCO that they already started, and which was a part of one of your videos a year ago.
Yeah.
Now the stuff that you spoke about there, I posted it on your site there on the top chats. I posted that link from a year ago that you spoke about.
Yeah.
Now that's all coming to light. Now everybody's going fully convertible because of what's going on with the U.S.
Yeah.
Now that they seize now that you look at how U.S. seized the Korean ships.
Yeah.
The reason why they're pushing China is because China is moving forward with that fully convertible yuan.
Yeah.
They've already put it out, and the people are going to it. The only thing that this administration doing right now is pushing everybody out.
Yeah.
And I hear everybody talking about, bashing Obama about some things. I'm saying, but when he wrote that agreement down with Treaty Parsi, with the people with Treaty Parsi, and
Venezuela once again,
they had some other people that had laid that agreement out. What we were supposed to do, we were going to be able to come in and set up an oil system in there.
Yeah.
And we were going to have a part of that. It was going to be a lot of money made.
Yeah, and
but for some reason they cut that out, and for them pulling out the JCPOA, that's a lot of money lost. We lost the war with, as you see, between Russia and Turkey for that pipeline.
Yeah.
While we were fighting in Syria, Putin was laying that pipeline out, and we watched the video of Putin and Erdogan standing on a ship, running that last pipeline and welding it together, dropping it down. That's when the end of the war came through because it didn't make any more sense to keep fighting because the pipeline was dropped.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question. So, Matt, what region of Africa were you in? A couple places, or were you located in one particular place?
Yeah, through that whole horn of Africa.
Yeah.
And through Midway, through Kenya, stuff like that.
Okay. Now, so you have first-hand experience on what you saw with your eyes on the presence of the Chinese there, and the fact that they are already strategically placing their assets and building up infrastructure with plans of having Africa being a thriving, would you say a leading nations of developers or of consumers, or what's the trend there? Because I know they're manufacturing there, but are they manufacturing for the point of it going back into the One Belt, One Road initiative, or from around the world, do you think?
It's covering all of that because they're putting up brand new hotels. They're putting up. I mean, because the coastline is so beautiful there.
Yeah.
They bringing in tourism. They're gonna bring in tourism. They're taking all that whole coastline is. You might as well forget about it. When they kick Dubai out,
yeah,
and you know Dubai has money.
Yeah.
Dubai is no joke. The joke that Dubai has money. They put them out.
Yeah. So yeah, so you think about 10 years, 20 years? The continent of Africa.
By the end of this year. I'm thinking about the end of this year, man. It's gonna be a whole lot of stuff going on. This stuff is going up quick. It's people thinking 10 years, 5 years. No, I don't see it at all. It's going to be faster than that.
Yeah, interesting. So from just hearing that, it already confirms the whole idea that they're building up infrastructure in the day that they need to flip their switch on of announcing to the world that what their plans are according to their 2030 and 2030-year vision, and it doesn't include the Federal Reserve note. Would you agree with that?
I can agree with that whole solely. Now, I'm waiting for what's going to happen tomorrow, Friday,
this
meeting.
Yeah.
Now, if this thing goes south and they can't make a deal, we're going to be hurting because with the type of actions that they've taken, they own most of the shipping. All the cargoes that ship all our goods and everything, and if they call in all their bets and say, "Oh, we want all our money," we can't cover that. And if we do, we're just gonna print a lot of it.
Yeah, and that's going to be problematic in and of itself because because it's man, this is like a scare. It's like a horror film and a suspense at the same time because we know something's happening and something's going to happen, but we don't know how serious it can be because this is a global event that's occurring, man. But hey, man, Wade, man, I appreciate you calling in and sharing your thoughts, and definitely keep us up to date, my friend.
Okay.
Yep. Have a good one. Appreciate you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Yeah, man. It's good to get firsthand information from someone that's been in the region. Appreciate that. So I acknowledge that super chat for Ace One. It says, dumping the dollar is the end game. Yeah, man. And I remember in like just coming up with the title or what the thought was and rethinking the dollar. And and my thought was like, man, in a couple years, just the words rethinking the dollar or dumping the dollar, or one thing I was not one of the first, I didn't coin the phrase, but the whole de-dollarization process. That's all we're experiencing. And it's nothing new, but it's just the first time it's happened in a developed world that's all interconnected. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Mike. It's Pete from the People's Republic of Colorado.
Pete from the People's Republic of Colorado. How you doing this evening, my friend? Good to hear your voice.
It's good to hear your voice. Any better than I couldn't stand it.
So, what are your thoughts on it? What's on your mind this evening?
Well, I'll just piggyback off the last guy. The big elephant in the room this week, the China trade talk collapse.
Yeah. So, what are your expectations that we're going to hear from the mainstream news tomorrow on whether something was a deal was made or not, and that if not, then what are we going? Will we feel something different on Monday?
I have no freaking idea.
Yeah.
Let's go back the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
You had, China just finished up the global conference on their One Belt, One Road initiative.
Yeah.
We had our failed coup in Venezuela, and we rocket coups, but that one didn't work out. But China and Russia were there, with troops on the ground.
Yeah.
We said we don't want oil or Iran to put out a gallon of oil, but China still buys their oil.
Yeah.
I think these trade talks are a whole lot more than what they appear, and it's actually a lot crazier and a lot scarier than what I would have thought a few weeks ago. It just feels as though we are weak and things aren't working out.
Yeah. It appears as if the U.S. is extremely vulnerable and desperate because at the end of the day, we still need goods and services to come from China. Everything we live upon comes from China. So to be playing hardball with our creditors and our suppliers, like, oh man, like, are we really that tough and bad that we can do that and get away with it? So, yeah.
Well, I don't know. My fear is that it'll result in war because, one thing on our end is China is our supposed enemy, and they are building the new Silk Road, and they have done a lot of things to progress, but their debt has quadrupled in 11 years. They're not exactly invulnerable as well.
Right.
I'm shocked that things have escalated so far, so fast, so quickly.
Yeah. I am as well. At the same time that I'm not sure if it's just the end of this expansion or debt or monetary policy, artificial economy we're in, but for everything to be slowing down and there would be a lack of confidence amongst the two leading nations, it just doesn't spell a very fruitful remainder of this year, especially with this presidential situation coming into play. And yeah.
Well, it's a laughing stock.
Yeah, I would agree.
I mean, you've actually had fantastic callers tonight. Your first call, called attention to Obama just being another of the same, and I think you and I are on the same page. It's really, disappointing that people spend so much time and emotion, fighting the other side.
Yeah.
And they're blind to the bigger picture that's happening all around us every day.
Yeah.
It's just a continuation.
Yeah, I agree, my friend. So by tomorrow, we will have a better understanding as to where this is heading, or will be prolonged, or will there be an extension made, and so, like, the fact that our president always brags on wanting the best deal. What's the best deal at this point when nations no longer truly need our currency, nevertheless, to continue to put up with our BS as we're sanctioning the world and looking to invade everybody? I can see a lot of people turning against us at the wrong time. Is that a way to put it? And like right now would be the wrong time.
They already have turned against us.
Yeah.
They already have turned against us. This has been in the process for years.
Yeah.
One other thing to throw out there. The last time I talked to you, I said Trump was the biggest monetary theorist of all time. He was calling for more quantitative easing and more lower interest rates. Over the course of the last month, the one thing we're not talking about is, our debt ceiling expired 2 months ago. It doesn't even make the news. They're raiding pensions just to fund the government right now, and it's not on our news.
Yeah. And clearly that's by design, because last time we would want people to find out that there's an unlimited amount of debt being brought into existence. And what happened to the threat of the government shutdown? Because I think that died down right along with that. Because weren't we supposed to have another shutdown in beginning of March if some type of deal wasn't made or something like that?
They're not even talking about it. It doesn't exist.
Right.
I mean, that's how bad it is right now.
Yeah, well, so watch this. The unfortunate part is that most people don't realize how interconnected our national debt and all the municipals, the cities, the government, all the debt in general, corporate debt, how that all reflects back on what we hold, save, invest, and use for our livelihoods, which is on the Federal Reserve note. So I think the rude awakening will be the moment that the Fed, as they're fighting inflation, they're trying to get 2%. They're trying to get that, and according to their own measurements of that PCE. But the moment that it becomes obvious that it's well beyond 2%, that's when I think it's going to show, where people will realize it's the result of all this monetary policy / currency that's been brought into existence, and then it's starting to hit the streets now.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, if you watch the financial news, basically they're hanging their hat on how great the job market is, how low uninflation is, and how a narrow breadth of companies are dragging the whole market higher. But anyone with any sense or reason knows that the methodology that produces all these numbers is inherently flawed.
Yeah.
And these people go on TV every day, and I don't know how they sleep at night.
Yeah, I wondered the same thing. And so what bothers me, well, not bother, what I'm thinking, like, I watched a couple videos about Trump prior to him becoming president and how he spoke in favor of gold and talking about monetary policy and the dollar, the dangers of the dollar. And I'm thinking, like, now he's wanting more of that stuff, and he just used to talk about it. So what happened in between? What was there any type of, did he come to the light, or he already knew, or what? Or is he planning? Is he a part of this whole game anyway?
Well, that's a fantastic question, because candidate Trump, as we all know, he spoke 100% the truth. The unemployment numbers are lies. The inflation numbers are lies. We can't raise interest rates even a little bit, or it'll all come crashing down. But now it's all totally legit. It's the greatest it's ever been, and we are at the pinnacle, the high point in existence. Yet everyone on the streets knows that none of that is true.
Yeah.
And I really don't even necessarily believe that anyone's really even following the mainstream financial media anymore. It's laughable.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
so to piggyback on that thought, the fact that CNN is offering buyouts and they're downsizing and all that stuff like that lets me know that, when the people who are basically the most liberally based / corrupt industry.
Leftist,
yeah, good
they're
point.
leftist.
The fact that they're going out or laying off or downsizing or restructuring in this point is definitely not a good time.
Well, no, I mean, this week has been absolutely insane.
Yeah.
You know, nobody knows. We don't have access to honest information. We have no idea what's happening behind the scenes. You know, we have no idea if these tariffs are really going to go in effect in a few hours or not. Mm-hmm. It's just, and, you know, Nero fiddles as Rome burns.
Yeah, man. And so as far as that, whether the tariffs go into effect or not, will that then result, say, in like immediate price and spikes on goods and services in stores in anticipation of the adjustment on their end? Or say next week or two, we're going to start seeing a noticeable difference. When you look at your grocery store list, you're going to say, this is a little higher, this is a little higher, or TV's a little bit higher, and cell phones go up in price. So I'm going to be interested to see how that plays out, if it comes down to that. So, but man.
Well, here's the one thing. The one thing is that if they did go into effect tonight, you know, inventories have already been purchased. Mm-hmm. There's, you know, all the prices would be passed along to us, the consumer, but it would take a few months.
Yeah.
So it may not matter if they go up tonight, if there is a deal, you know, in a short amount of time. Yeah. But I am honestly, this caught me off guard this entire week. Mm-hmm. And but also, like I said, last week, our failed coup in Venezuela, you know, we're usually very good at that.
Yeah.
It just shows our weakness. And also, Russia and China are teaming up against us, and they're pestering us all around the world, in Syria, you know, Venezuela, you know, buying oil from Iran. I think it's a lot more than the trade deal.
Yeah, I would agree.
And
I would agree. Well, hey, Pete, man, I appreciate you for calling in and sharing your thoughts. Always good to hear your voice, my friend. Thanks for sharing your thoughts with us this evening.
Absolutely. I'm glad your phone's working again. What happened to that?
I don't know. It was I was able to call myself and it rung, so I'm assuming, I don't know. I was thinking people were playing games on me, but I'll leave it at that. So, but hey, man, I appreciate you calling in.
All right. Have a good night.
Yeah, be good.
Bye.
Yeah, man. That's what it is, man. So yeah, I'm gonna call it quits right there. Apologize for not being able to get to any more phone calls and as well as a chat. But as always, it's been great hanging out this evening. We've been about a 43-minute or so piece. So as always, man, it's been fun. More importantly, for those that might be catching us late, don't be afraid to hit that thumbs up button. Excuse me, right now as you're watching. If you're still here, hit that thumbs up button. Show your support for the channel. More importantly, about a couple hours ago, I posted a video about a giveaway. And so every May I do a giveaway. And so this giveaway, as of upcoming Sunday night, I'll just randomly through a YouTube, you know, fixer thingy, just randomly pick somebody. And so definitely the video is a reference to the purchasing power as well as what did you prefer as a medium of exchange. So if you haven't, make sure you comment on that according to the rules and regulations or whatnot. And then more importantly, if you find it informative, share that so more people can find out about it and get a chance to get something for free and just to become more aware of what's going on. So other than that, all the details for stuff over here is down beneath. But other than that, be blessed, be safe. And I will see you guys, probably do a live stream tomorrow. I'll probably try checking out with you guys tomorrow afternoon. So I'll check in as probably like a live update as to what's going on with the trade situation or the tariff situation. But other than that, be blessed, be safe. Make sure you continue to get your weight up and utilize these remaining good years of opportunity to take advantage of manipulation, get your weight up, and do whatever you got to do to spread your roots and wings a little bit so you'll be well prepared for the change that's underway. But other than that, I'm ranting again. So good night. Have a good evening.